This module, we've been really focusing on central tendency. If you want to do this in SPSS, if you pull up your test data set, you can go up to Analyze, go to Descriptives, and click on Frequencies. Click on Frequencies. There's two different ways. We'll go for the easy one first. If you click on the variable that you want, let's go with level of education, how about age of respondents, and current position in your organization. Okay? Now, so we've moved those over. If you click on your statistics box, you can see over here you have your central tendency. So let's click on mean, median, and mode. You can also look at either distribution, and more importantly, here's your measures of dispersion. So you can capture your standard deviation and your variance. You could also do your range or your minimum and maximum values, and we'll talk about your standard error a little bit later. So long story short, we could capture everything just within that little one. Now go ahead and click Continue. And the other cool thing about this frequencies command is if you click on charts, you can actually design your own histogram and show the normal curve of the distribution. So you can see how far off your distribution is from what would be a normal curve. So go ahead and hit Continue, and then go ahead and hit OK. Now SPSS is going to run this, and it's going to flip to another window. So your data window is going to be another tab. So if you can look on your frequencies, here's your frequency table. Your level of education, you have 30 valid responses, 0 missing. If you go all the way over here to current position, you can see that there was 1 missing value. So it shows you your mean, your median, and your mode. I'm trying to get this out of the way for you. You also see your standard deviation and variance. Remember what I was mentioning before about your standard deviation isn't just as simple as 1, 2, and 3. You could have a wider deviations depending on how many values there are in your variable. Well, see, here's your age of respondent. You have a standard deviation of 16. Now, recognizing that you're probably running a gamut of a large number of age ranges, see your variance is pretty high there too. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's likely that you might see a wider range or a higher standard deviation when you're looking at values where you could have a lot of different potential scores. So that's your basic information. If you want to scroll down here, you can see your frequency table. Again, the number of times you have the certain responses, the count of your responses. You also have a percentage, so what is the percent of individuals who have a high school diploma? 3.3. There's 23% that have bachelor's degrees. Now the next column over is your valid percent. What this does is it calculates your percentage, but it takes out the missing values. So you'll see that there might be a couple of values off here and there, particularly when you start to see larger data sets. And then finally, your cumulative percentage. What that does, it's an additive effect. As you can see, it'll just calculate and add as you go down. Could be useful at times if you want to see how many people have a bachelor's degree and lower or a master's degree and lower. Just saves you a step from calculating. And now finally you run through your different frequency tables. And just given that standard deviation of 16, you can see you have a range of scores from 15 to 70 in terms of the age of the respondents. So it's a little harder to imagine that you would have a very small standard deviation with that range of scores. Again, current position in your organization. And then finally, here's your histograms. So you'll go down and notice those. But see how your normal curve is overlaid over top? So it could be cool just to be able to present your information. And just as a side note, you can see you have your key information, your mean, your standard deviation, and your N, which is a sample size, over here on your right. You can cut and paste those and put them into just by right-clicking, and then you can copy special and then paste it into a Word document. Okay, so that's your basic SPSS tutorial on central tendency. Let me know if you have any questions.